Welcome, little one. This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right, men. Listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
Question. How do we call? He gave us a signal.
What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries and my Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are live once again from the Bat Cave. But it's gonna be a little bit of a different show today. It's kind of a little bit of different things going on. A lot of craziness. I'm gonna be helping Super Bro Corey move today, so that's why he cannot join us this round. And also, unfortunately, the Savage Bat won't be able to join us for our Delta Squad stream. But you guys already know that we are in good hands, especially with Mr. Orc and Beans. Here we go. Mr. Orchid Beads 14 himself. What's up, brother?
I don't think I was worthy of that intro. That was awesome. I hadn't
No.
seen that yet, and that was very cool. Thanks for having me.
I will do this. For you, I will do this.
I will say, as every good true Sith, I did kill my master, and so that's why Super Bro Corey's not here. And I was just really jealous of Savage Bat's room, so I killed him too.
Oh, well, you know, give in to your hate, I guess.
But, you know, they're not dead until you see them again.
True. Very true. I mean, you know, they can always come back as a Force ghost, like a future Qui-Gon Jinn.
Or as a clone.
Or a clone. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Either way, however they want to. So Delta Squad stream is going to be a little empty today, but we still got Orc and Beans 14, which is good enough. Because
we'll carry the show.
Absolutely. I mean, you carried us during the Halo game party that we did. So
and I'll carry you again next weekend.
Yes, you will, probably, because I haven't played Battlefront in like, oh god, probably like a year.
Yeah.
So I need to start hitting it hard. But I mean, you brought it up, so let's just talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already know, we are doing a Obi-Wan Kenobi season finale game party celebration over on Orc and Beans 14's Twitch account, which is in the description. If you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, either his YouTube, his TikTok, or his Twitch, it's all Orc and Beans 14 because he got ahead of the game.
Yeah, I did.
And unfortunately, the Bat channel's like taking on some other things. But go over and subscribe to Orc and Beans 14 because June 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be doing a game party celebration where you guys can hang out with us, kind of like what we did for the Halo party, where, you know, you just send us a game tag or invite. Mine is Titan Space Valor 12. And Corey, I believe, is Biggie C 72.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. And then yours is just Orc and Beans 14 as well.
I got it on Xbox too.
Look at you. See? Planning.
Yeah.
Planning. He's just coming in and he's just...
Hello there.
Let's see who's all up in the chat today. I see quite a few people. Some of our loyals. Ryan Swayze, what's up, brother? It's good to see you. Super Bro Corey, obviously, as he's busy packing, he's probably just having the video on in the background. I appreciate it. I'll be seeing you soon, buddy. As soon as this video ends, I'm gonna drive up with Wonder Wife Sarah to go help you move. So I hope it's going well so far. Better not leave me a ton of boxes, big fella. I'm just kidding. We got Bat Fanatic. What's up, Bat Fanatic? It's good to see you. Mr. Bat Dan himself. He was like, no Bat intro? No, because this is going to be the Delta stream for now on. So anytime we do talk about Star Wars and stuff like that, you're going to begin that countdown. You'll still get our Bat channel opener because, I mean, that's just iconic. We have to do it. My man, Restore the Cyberverse guy, it's good to see you. Yes, new opener. Everyone's crazy. And then Bat Dan, of course, had to do the somebody save me. Bad news in terms of that. I feel bad because I know you're saying this is the last time you're doing it. I don't have the somebody save me on this particular brands that we're doing. So like StreamYard gives you like playlists that you can create and stuff like that. So I made like a strictly Star Wars one and I didn't add somebody save me to that. So sorry. Sorry, not sorry, I guess. Trevor H, my bro, it's good to see you. Hope all is well, my man. Saying this is dope. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. And then my man El Necron, No Super Bro. Yeah, no Super Bro, unfortunate today. But even El Necron is like, intro was badass. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Worked on it all last night. Well, guys, and Lucas Ironside up in the house. Happy Saturday. Good to see you, Lucas Ironside. Hope all is well, my man. Bat Dan already coming in with this. Somebody save me saying, I'll do Somebody Save Me one more time. I didn't realize Corey was on the stream. Yeah, it was kind of like last minute. We weren't sure if he was going to be able to make it. And unfortunately, Savage Bat can't make it this round. But like I said, we got Orc and Beans 14, and that's really all you need when it comes to this. But guys, as always, it helps us out so much when you smash that like, you share this video, get your friends in the live chat, because the more people we have in the live chat, the more fun it's going to be. It's just a damn good time with the both of us making fun of each other. I'm just kidding. But we just passed 1,400 subscribers. I'm hoping we get to 1,500 by the end of the month. That would be super duper cool. We can only do that with your guys' help. So make sure you smash that like, share the video, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you feel like supporting us a little further, super chat. Super chat goes a long way. I got a few Star Wars clips. I'm not quite fully set up on all the Star Wars super chats like we are on the Bat channel page that we normally do, but it's gonna be, I'll take care of you guys. Don't you worry. But super chat goes a long way. Just the money goes right back into the show again. Better equipment, resubscribing to our subscriptions like StreamYard, and maybe even a better one at some point. Who knows? We'll see. We'll look into it as it goes on. But yes, join us. My man, are you ready to do like some spoiler reviews?
So ready. This episode was so good.
It was very, very good. So, guys, if you haven't already seen episode 4, or really any of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you don't want anything spoiled, this is your spoiler warning. Unfortunately, I don't have the Bat channel spoiler warning. I literally just thought of it as I jumped on the stream. It was like, oh, I don't have that for this playlist. So I was like, work in progress when it comes to Star Wars. Cody, you seem to have really liked episode 4 especially. What did you, kind of giving us a recap, what did you overall thoughts think of episode 4?
I just thought episode 4 was a good episode of just kind of seeing Obi-Wan come back to his old self. And I just that episode was good. But this episode was better. This was the episode we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was just like one of those, like they had some horror elements, obviously, as he walked through the tomb. But essentially, the quick recap is that Leia was captured by Reva and taken to the Fortress Inquisitoris, and Kenobi was rescued by Tala from Vader, and was brought to Jabin, which is that muddy mining world that we talked about from our last show. That was part of the whole Dark Horse Star Wars Republic comic, which was really cool to see finally in live action. And now it's currently a refugee camp, not quite a rebel base, but it's where all these people like Roken are kind of stationed to help smuggle people in and out, especially those who are force sensitive, away from the Empire. And currently Obi-Wan was healing in a bacta tank from his burned wounds because, Vader's a real dick. But basically they come up with the mission, the plan to go save Leia, and Tala, which very movingly volunteers to help Obi-Wan, even though her cover is pretty much blown at this point. And that whole Fortress Inquisitoris was very much reminiscent of the Jedi Fallen Order video game. If you guys haven't played that, it's a phenomenal video game. You've played it, right, Orc and Beans?
Which one?
Jedi Fallen Order.
I haven't. No. You
haven't?
No. It looked too much. It looked too much like Dark Souls, and I'm terrible at those games.
Oh, okay.
And so I was intimidated by it. However, I will probably play it soon.
I would highly recommend it. Like story wise alone, it was worth it. Corey struggled playing with it too, but like if you could play like Arkham Knight or something like that, it's very much like that.
I'll probably play it. It's on my agenda.
It's pretty good, especially the last few missions get kind of crazy. But Reva tries to interrogate Leia, which just doesn't go well for her. But Reva always has a plan, right? And Obi-Wan finds the tomb with Tara Sunube, as from Clone Wars, that we now know has ended up in this tomb, unfortunately, in this like amber looking container. Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
Probably doing cloning like some Jurassic Park or something. But Obi-Wan needs Tala to create a diversion to rescue Leia. And that's like Cody said earlier, just such a badass scene with Obi-Wan in the dark and the lightsaber going up. And, it's just very, very cool
Neat.
choreography,
Yeah, so
especially.
neat.
And he's starting to figure it out again. He's getting it down together. And then, of course, at some point when Kenobi and Tala and Leia all gather together again, they're trying to escape the fortress. But they're surrounded. They're not able to escape until the smugglers save the day with their T-47 airspeeders. Not without loss, though. Rest in peace, Wade. Yep, R.I.P. Wade. And Vader is pissed at Reva for letting them go, but she has placed a tracker in Leia's droid, LOLA 59, also known as Lola. So that's where episode 4 left us. And I see already my boy El Necron coming in with that $2 Evil Sith super chat for the game. My man, you are the best, sir. This is for you. I think you'll appreciate it.
This is where the fun begins.
Thank you so much for that, El Necron. That means a lot, man. Especially we know how much every dollar goes to, so I appreciate all your hard work and just showing your love and support. Thanks, my man. That does mean a lot. All right, my bro, are you ready to get into episode 5?
So
this
ready.
Crazy thing.
So ready.
Oh. Were you expecting them to start the flashback with Hayden Christensen?
No, I was like, I saw like it starts off with him looking at the tower, and I'm like, man, that's a cool shot. I wonder where this is. And then when I saw that sweet ponytail, I said, oh my God, blew my mind. And it was just awesome. It was like people have been wanting flashbacks, and we finally got one. And the way that they use the flashback throughout the entire episode is perfect. Absolutely loved it. Died.
Yeah, I agree, dude. It was just so like to see Hayden again. And they didn't really need to de-age him. I know you could tell, but
yeah,
let's just face it, it's Hayden Christensen. He's back.
Yeah.
I don't care. He could look like, Obi-Wan does in episode 4. I don't care. I'll be okay to have Hayden back. Just very nice to see him get the love and respect he finally deserves for his portrayal of Anakin Skywalker.
Well, I was kind of confused when they said he was going to be in the show, because I was like, if he's just going to be in the Vader suit the whole time, I was like, why are they? I mean, it's cool, but why have him just be in the suit the whole time? And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, thank God they got him. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, Batman, I'm not even sure if they really tried to de-age him, because I mean, as we saw with Luke Skywalker, it does require a lot of time and money. And so he might just look young enough still to where, they kind of just said, all right, well.
It was something that I noticed, but it didn't take me away from the scene.
Yeah, it didn't ruin the experience for me, because like we both said earlier, it was like, it's Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. Like, it's exciting. And I really loved that, it looks like they're starting on Coruscant, at the Jedi Temple, and they're about to do a little lightsaber training duel. And I think it's before Attack of the Clones, episode 2, because one, I mean, Anakin still has his right arm still.
Oh, true.
So judging by that, it's probably before episode 2. I don't think it would be during the events, because we don't really see a downtime in terms of Obi-Wan and Anakin getting a downtime to really train together, because they kind of just jump right into the mission to protect Padme. But it's just a really great scene to see them. We got the Obi-Wan mullet back, which I don't know why people hate the mullet, man, but he's looking good.
Hey, I rocked a mullet for a very long time, and I looked good.
Oh, well, you already know. But it's really, really cool that we know we're about to get a little lightsaber throwdown. But before we even get to there, we get a present day flash forward to Darth Vader staring out into space, just pissed off as always. He's not happy that Obi-Wan has escaped his clutches, but as he stares out into space, Reva has been summoned and is granted the rank of Grand Inquisitor for her incredible planning by putting that little beacon on Leia's droid Lola, and she is now Vader's right hand, closer to him than ever, which is exactly what she wanted. No, hint, hint.
Yeah.
But as they approach Jabin, Vader wants to lock down the base, and of course Reva's kind of like, well, why do you want to lock them down? You know, like why don't we just like go in there and you know, because if we lock them down, it's basically a fortress. It's going to take us a while to get in there. And of course, Vader's like, we don't need to destroy the people. Like, we just need to destroy Kenobi, because Kenobi is a natural leader. He's like, if I break his spirit, then we've won this. And I love that. What did you think of that, Cody?
I thought it was just such a good like indication of how well the two know each other, because obviously they've spent so much time together. And so it was cool to see like the mind games that honestly both of them do throughout the whole episode, but for this scene specifically, like it was cool that like Vader is very brute strength, but in this moment he's like, no, I can mess with him mind wise and I can break him in other ways. I don't need to just go down there and slaughter people.
Yeah, and I love what Trevor H just said right here. A good point, Orkin Beans 14. This was nonstop mental chess, and that's exactly what this entire episode was just how well does the other know the other. And we've always kind of seen Obi-Wan get the upper hand on Anakin, because he can never, he's too quick to jump in head first rather than patience, you know, young Padawan, examine the situation you're in and look at all possible angles of it, which is wonderful. But as we go on to Jabin, Obi-Wan and company have arrived back to the refugee base, and we are starting to see the more hopeful Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not quite. I feel like we're not quite there to Ben Kenobi from A New Hope, but we're starting to see the inklings, the little cracks of the hopeful man that we all know him to be. But he knows he needs to get Leia back to Alderaan. I know Batman is in the house right there. Oh, I see my boy Jason Kelly. Guys, if you haven't checked out Zero Atlantis YouTube channel, you need to. He joined us for the Halo gaming party. And maybe, I don't know, Jason Kelly, I don't know if you have a Battlefront 2 with Star Wars, but we'd love to see you there too for that. That'd be dope. But it's good to see you, my man. He says, good morning, Bat Channel homies. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you as always. But yeah, he knows he needs to get Leia back to Alderaan as soon as possible. But these refugees, they have sacrificed so much, and Kenobi knows that the Empire is soon to follow and is probably honestly about to overtake this refugee base. So it's going to be no more soon. And Roken is kind of like, dude, like I would love to help you right now, but like these people have already been patient with me to get them into safe passage. Like I need your help. And I love that Obi-Wan kind of takes a moment to look around. He's just like, no, you're right. What did you get from that, Orkin Beans? Did you really get the sense that like, yeah, he's found something within himself that he can be that former Jedi again that he once was?
I mean, Obi-Wan's always a sucker to help people. He always is. And obviously Vader uses that against him throughout this episode. But I mean, I wasn't surprised that this is what he was going to do. And also just the scene of him looking around and seeing that other Jedi had been there, and then the box of lightsabers that were there. Like, I think it really kind of put himself in perspective that like, hey, there's not a lot of us left. And if I don't help these people now, no one's going to. I'm the only one. I have to step up. I have to be Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. And I got to do anything that I can to help these people.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really nice to see, you know, especially he's kind of seeing everything that these guys have been able to achieve. They've helped so many, but here's all these families, you know, and in a way it's kind of, not to throw in a Star Trek reference, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And, you know, I think he's just kind of like what we saw in episode 1 with Obi-Wan Kenobi, how he refused to help Senator Organa the first time, and he refused to help all those struggling people on Tatooine, and that one Jedi Padawan who was trying to escape the Empire. And I think he saw his, what happens when he chooses not to help people. That Jedi Padawan got hanged, for all to see. And I think that messed him up. That hurt him personally. So it was good to see him kind of be like, no, you're right. Like, I'll do whatever I can to help get these people safe. And just like you said, Orkin Beans, like, yeah, Vader very much is expecting this, which is why he said we need to break Kenobi. If we can break the man that he thinks he can be and bring him back down, he's just like, then I'm continuously winning this battle. And I loved that. And as Vader, well, Lola finally wakes up from her little slumber because Reva has activated her. And of course, Lola is going to mess up some of the wiring and the controls to lock down the doors to trap the people inside, just like Vader had planned. So already causing the scare as people are knowing that the Empire is near. But Vader is coming for him, and Obi-Wan knows what they must do because he knows what Anakin will do. And I really loved how they used the flashbacks in this particular episode. They really used it to mirror the situation, what was going on through the thoughts of Vader and the thoughts of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And as we kind of see with this particular flashback, Obi-Wan knows that Vader, Anakin, is very impulsive. He's too aggressive in his fighting style. I mean, as we even know, Anakin's fighting style is Form 5, the Xian and Gem So, which is also known as the Way of the Crate Dragon. And it's basically, it's this powerful fighting form to, it's very offensive forward, attack forward, and specializes in countering. So just kind of showcases how Anakin approaches a battle, and Anakin even says in that flashback, mercy doesn't defeat the enemy. And of course, Obi-Wan says, a Jedi's goal is to defend life, not take it. And that's very much the difference between Anakin and Obi-Wan from the beginning, in a sense. What do you think of that? I mean, that we've seen from the beginning, as we kind of knew from the episode 2 and episode 3, there was always that dark side of Anakin, but in a way, Orkin Beans, it kind of proves that this Vader isn't quite peak Vader yet. He's still very much Anakin, headstrong and not thinking clearly in this moment as the Sith Lord he is.
Yeah, I think that the flashbacks were perfect because they also kind of they give you a visual showing of like where the balance is during the episode. And so when they're starting off, they're kind of even. Then you can kind of see Anakin starts to get ahead, and he is throughout that whole thing. He is showing his aggression, and he's winning. But even though he's winning, Obi-Wan is still giving him lessons throughout the whole thing. Like Obi-Wan is fighting and teaching at the same time. And so I just thought that was a very cool thing. And yeah, it is showing that I think Anakin is kind of showing that he's starting to be a little more patient with the idea of don't just lock him down, we'll break him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not peak Vader yet, but damn, he looks strong later on.
Oh yeah, he's definitely almost there, right? Like there's no denying how powerful he is, especially with the Force and the dark side of the Force. I just think mind chess was the best part of this, of who was going to outwit the other. While Darth Vader was trying to wait out Obi-Wan and kind of push him to lose his spirit, Obi-Wan knew that he just had to like entice Vader, like, come on, come get me, throughout this entire thing. And he knew Vader was, basically a dog salivating in the mouth, just waiting to tear into Obi-Wan, which was great. But as we learn, Vader orders the attack on Jabin, and Reva arrives with a garrison of stormtroopers with some heavy turrets to open the gate. So, I kind of laughed that she was like, it's a fortress, it's going to take us forever to get in there. And really, like, I mean, this was just like one of those like small nitpicky things. Like that turret was actually doing some pretty good damage to the gate.
Yeah, I don't know why she ever stopped. Like,
it was just kind of funny. Like, you knew she was just kind of like, all right, we're gonna get in here soon. But one thing I really loved about this next scene that comes up is, here they are, they're locked down, the people are scared, the refugees are worried that the Empire is gonna kill all these families, and at this perfect time, you see Obi-Wan have like a bit of a change, like a facial expression. Like it's almost like he remembers this situation. He knows what it's like to be in battle. The General Kenobi from Clone Wars really starts to come out at this moment. And he's like, he gathers all the refugees up and he tells them this plan. He's just like, we can do this. We can get out of this, but we're gonna have to, put us in a tight spot here, but we can do this. And of course, probably one of the, in somewhat of a sense, I don't know if you kind of got a little upset at this scene, but Senator Organa gives Kenobi a call.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm worried that Vader will find out about his secret children. And it's like,
bro, be a little more secretive, man.
Right?
We gotta have some code words for these kids.
Right? Like just
maybe giving out all the details. Like,
yeah, completely these non-force sensitive kids,
I guess I understand, because I mean, obviously it's a recording of him saying, and he's like, hey, I haven't heard anything in a while. Like, I'm nervous. And so I can understand that, like, nervous dad, not sure what's going on with this kid, and that's maybe why he had a clouded judgment of saying too much than he should have. He very easily could have said some other stuff to give the same idea, but I kind of understood it because, I mean, he hasn't heard anything for a while. His daughter's missing. Like, I kind of get it, but it was a little like, dude, what are you doing? What are we doing?
I agree. It wasn't dumb enough to take me once again out of the moment. But it was a little bit maddening just to be like, dude, you revealed so much. And you're absolutely right. It was just basically a very, worried, sick father who was like, I haven't heard from you, dude. Like, are you still alive? Like, is my daughter okay? Like, you haven't told me anything. Like, I get it. Like, he definitely, and I'm sure his wife was probably nagging him at home, being like, where's our daughter? Where's our daughter? We haven't heard anything, So it makes sense. Is it maddening? Yes, but people do stupid shit when they're stressed, especially, well, I don't want to say parents, because then I'll get a text message from my parents later, be like, oh, really? Is that what you think? Like, sorry, Darth dad. But Batan says maybe they said Vader's kids because it's so obvious that the enemy would assume it's a code word and not Vader's kids. Oh, that's kind of an interesting thought. Like, just saying because Vader, had Leia imprisoned. I mean, technically it was Reva, that it would be Vader's kids that he has.
Also, we have to remember that we're watching a show and they have to explain things to the audience more clearly.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Let's
have
say
to
if this was a real
down.
situation, maybe he wouldn't have said that, but because it's a show and they have to, sometimes point out the obvious to the audience, that's probably why they just straight up said it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's absolutely totally possible. But one thing I really liked about that scene right after is that we got a little bit more backstory on Tala, why she could no longer work for the Empire, and it was kind of similar to what made Finn, from the sequel trilogy, move away from the First Order. Or is it the New Order? I can't remember anymore. No, that's the Final Order. Yeah, it's the First Order. But it's very much the simple fact that the Inquisitors do some really messed up things. And when, Emperor Palpatine, basically, or Darth Sidious, made, stormtroopers regular people rather than clones, they have a conscience. They are part of a family. And here they're rounding these families up. And I think she said they rounded up like 14 families with force sensitive children, and they slaughtered them all. And she had to witness it. And it was just to me, it was a very impactful scene of just like, like this is all the messed up things the Empire does. And they kind of expect people they scare people so much that they just sit there and will take it and go along with it. But in this case, Tala said no more and tried to start helping those people. And this episode especially did her character super justice. Do you agree, Orkin Beans?
Yeah, I think this was a good episode to kind of make us care a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they kind of did that for a reason as to why it happens later in the episode to make it more impactful. But no, I thought it was, I mean, who could blame her? Like, when you think you're a part of something good and then you witness something as horrible as that, you're going to take a step back and be like, are we the bad guys? I think we're the bad guys. And then, so that was a cool moment just to be like, okay, it makes sense why she decided to try to help people instead of slaughtering families, which I felt was an easy choice.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Now here's where I don't know about you. I did watch your TikTok reactions, which was hilarious. So guys, like I said, if you haven't followed Orc and Beans 14 on TikTok, you need to, because if you think he's funny here, he's even funnier on TikTok. It's phenomenal. But I don't know about you. I practically jumped out of my seat with this next whole ordeal where we actually learned our Reva theories were confirmed all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, I think everyone was pretty confident that, like, yeah, she was one of the kids. But I didn't think it was she got stabbed by Anakin. Like, I thought maybe she just escaped and there was some other reason. But, like, to see that she was stabbed and left to die by him and she lived through it. Yeah, no wonder she's mad and after this guy. Like, it once she started explaining it, and, like, I felt like I was kind of Obi-Wan in that moment. He's like, oh, crap. Oh, I totally get it now. I understand what's going on here.
Yeah. It was such a great scene because I loved that. One, it shows you Obi-Wan really is getting his force powers back, and not quite up to full strength, but it's coming along. And I love that when he's starting to figure it out. I mean, like you said, one, it confirmed our theories. And when people are like, this Reva character is stupid, it's like, no, dude, she's clearly written a certain way because they're about to reveal something huge with her. And that was one, yes, she was the Padawan that you saw in the very opening scene of episode 1 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But more importantly, her reason to become, or, to want to become Grand Inquisitor. Her whole mission behind the scenes has not to help the Empire, but to get closer to Darth Vader because she wants to kill him for what he has done to her friends and to her.
Yeah. I got a little mad when she's like, where were you, Obi-Wan? And I'm like, he was ending the war. Like,
yeah, he was on Utapau going after Grievous.
He was ending the war. Like, he was kind of doing something important. And he obviously didn't know that this was going to happen. So I was a little mad by that, but I could understand her being mad. Yeah. Like, first of all, she's snatched from her family, turned into this, Jedi. Then the clone troopers that she thought she could trust turns on them, kills them. She thinks Anakin she can trust, kills him. No wonder she doesn't trust anybody. And I can understand why she would be mad at Obi-Wan for not being there, even though he was doing something more important or equally important. It was just, I was like, what is going on? And then I was just like, I get her. I'm frustrated, but I get it. I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly.
And Trevor H does it perfectly. Yeah, that's totally. Yeah. She even says that, like, you failed him, like you messed him up, and Owen says that in the first episode too, or it was the first or the second episode where he returns the toy and he's like, I don't want you to do what you did to Anakin. You failed Anakin. I don't want you to do the same thing with Luke. Like, I can understand why people kind of put the blame on Obi-Wan for what happened, even though it wasn't really his fault.
Yeah. It's kind of that unfortunate situation. Like, I always love talking about the Duel of Fates. The reason why that song is called Duel of Fates is that it's really about Anakin in that story, in that scene with Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn. Because if Obi-Wan dies, Qui-Gon is the father figure that Anakin needs. And most likely you never get Revenge of the Sith. You never get Order 66, where the Jedi are wiped out. I think you get a perfect, chosen one Jedi that you would expect from the prophecy. With Obi-Wan, he was still young, he was still figuring it out. I mean, how many times did Qui-Gon say, like, he's still kind of not knowledgeable of what he needs to in the Force, but, like, I just have to train Anakin, like, I'm not going to let this kid not be trained, even though Obi-Wan probably truly wasn't ready. at that time.
Well, also
And
the age gap is different because Anakin comes in so late. He's already 9 years old when he starts his training. Usually they get
yes.
trained so much earlier. And so normally the age gap between the master and the Padawan would be bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
because they're
absolutely.
closer to age, and also you're right. Qui-Gon dies. There goes his father figure. His mom dies. There goes his mother. Like,
Yeah.
and then he finds out his wife is gonna die. Like, Obi-Wan was not set up for success with him.
No, he wasn't.
He
And
had
I
such a
think,
huge hill, and nobody sees that.
yeah. And in Clone Wars, you really get the sense that he like Obi-Wan's trying, but I think in some cases, like they kind of reveal in Clone Wars that like Obi-Wan knew about Padme the entire time, basically. You know, he knew they had a stronger connection. And I think deep down, he felt like it was good for Anakin. That like he needed someone that he could trust, which he found in Padme. Um, because clearly there was something else going on with, you know, the Emperor manipulating him. And just the fact, I mean, no matter what, you know, Reva is right. Obi-Wan feels the guilt. You know, he blames himself for what happened to Anakin and what's happening to the galaxy. So I completely understand when she's like, this was your fault. My friends died because of you. You know, because yeah, you could say he's the master, you know, he's supposed to prepare him for all these moments in life and know what to do in those hard moments. But unfortunately, because Obi-Wan, especially because of the Clone Wars, he wasn't always around Anakin, you know, and Anakin thrived on victory, thrived and built up his ego for how well he was, you know,
Because
perceived in the
he
Clone
was
Wars.
so skillful, he got away with bad decisions because of how skillful he was. And it built this confidence in him that he could get away with anything, and he was always right because he could just get out of it with his skills. You know, if things
Yeah.
went bad, he could just go back to default mode and just be skillful, and he'd get through it.
Exactly. Yeah. And as El Necron says, Obi-Wan and Anakin are more like brothers and competitive with each other. Yeah, well, definitely Anakin, right? Like is definitely competitive with Obi-Wan. And I think, I mean, it kind of shows in Attack of the Clones, you know, Anakin refers to Obi-Wan, you're like my father. And then, you know, in Revenge of the Sith, they develop what much more of a brother relationship, much more of a respect for each other. They consider each other uh, equals in some aspects, but I think Anakin would probably always say that, you know, I'm a better Jedi, you know, Obi-Wan's just wiser. But it's just one of those scenes where I really loved this scene because one, everything that we had talked about in our previous episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi breakdowns, we kept telling you, wait, there's a reason why they're doing this with Reva. There's a reason why she is overly obvious right now, and that she's just written very bland, I guess you could say, even though it wasn't bland, she was putting up a front because there was another truth behind her. There was a secret she was hiding. And one being that she was one of the Padawans that apparently Anakin killed during Order 66 at the Jedi Temple, and that she's been hunting him ever since. She is like, forget that, like, okay, some people are like, well, she's a Jedi, like, why would she kill people? She has left that life behind because in the sense she wants to kill Vader. That's a very un-Jedi thing to do, right? So the Jedi side of her is gone. She has one mission and she's going to achieve it however she can. She's going to hurt the person that hurt her, you know. And I just love that she's like, I take care of myself, you know. She even says that to Obi-Wan, like, I don't need your help. When Obi-Wan, you know, tries to kind of recruit her, he says, I need your help. But of course she's had enough with this conversation and she's like, all right, we're done here, bro. Like, let's time to get this into action. And she digs her lightsaber, kind of like what we saw in Phantom Menace, into the gate and, you know, burst it open. And of course, Obi-Wan does some force pushing away and he falls back because it's go time right now. Here comes an insane battle. And man, oh man, like, first off, if you know anything about Obi-Wan's fighting style, the Sora-Zu, which is a defense focused fighting style, which helps him really, you know, block against blaster fire, which is why he was like so successful in, you know, the whole Clone Wars series and was considered one of the best. But like he's able to really kind of hold them back and defend, some of the refugees to help them get back. But they're just being overrun. And this scene. Oh man, I think this was the first time I cried during this show. Like I actually had a good cry because it just hit so much. But as Tala gets hit, and her loader droid is defending
What is
her.
with Disney making lovable droids?
Right. Oh my god.
Like this dude was in like 2 episodes basically, and I'm in love with him. He was
Agreed.
so just like the powering down in front of her to be like that last bit of shield for her. I was like, ah.
Yeah. When he's creating that shield, and it was I loved how they played it cinematically, how he in Star Wars does this really great thing where they're droids, right? They're wires, they're gears, they're chips. There's not really human emotion in them, but yet they give them so much human emotions, like C3PO, like R2D2.
And they do it with body language.
Yes.
That's the other thing. It's like he's not doing it with he's not saying these things. It's just body language. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it really makes you think that in a weird way that these droids have very much a soul within them. They care. And I just love that the droid he's covering her. He's like, providing this last minute shield for her, and just kind of looks into her eyes as this whole thing happens. And she just looks back at him as they know this is kind of their end. And she's not going to let the Empire just take her. She's going to take as many as she can with her. And of course, she turns on a thermal detonator and gives up her life to take out a few stormtroopers. Out of curiosity, Orc and Beans, you can be honest, did that hit you? Did that tug at the heartstrings?
Yeah, and especially now that they've just built her up and gave you some more insight into her past and what she was going through. I think they 100% did that because they knew this scene was coming up. And just I used the shot in the TikTok, but when she says "May the Force be with you," and then the doors close on Obi-Wan, like what he had to have been going through right there had to have been tough because there was nothing for him to do. And then for us, we know what's going to happen, and then we start to see it happen, and then it goes all white. Like that was tough. That was hard.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, El Necron said it well, man. He had a heart of steel, that loader droid. Yeah, definitely. It's like you said, it's incredible with the small details they're able to portray with just physical body language, and I guess in this case, robotic language. But Batan says, well, we can confirm it's not Wrecker from Bad Batch. Yeah, I did hear that theory. I think Star Wars Theory came up with that one, if I heard on Twitter correctly. And yeah, we do know that the loader droid isn't Wrecker, which I'm okay that it's not. I think the fact that it was just this loader droid that was able to have this moment with Tala, I think was super special. But of course, this moment would really affect Obi-Wan because as someone in a weird way, he hasn't known her for very long, but I think she made a huge impact on him. I think he was very moved by her, blowing her cover to save them, to help them, to going, to rescue him when Vader, not close. I mean, Vader not far away, and helping a little girl volunteering when, no one else wanted to. She was just like, yep, I'll go, I'll help you, and really put her life on the line. And I think he was very moved by that. So of course it really affected him. And at this moment, he knows, he's like, I'm defeated, and he knows Vader knows this, and that Vader knows what his next move is going to be. So in his mind, it's like, okay, what do I do in this moment? Let's do the unthinkable. I'm going to surrender. What did you think of this? Did this feel out of character for Obi-Wan? Do you think this was exactly what he was going for? How did you feel about Obi-Wan being like, yep, I've lost this battle based off my flashback and what I know of Anakin? This is it. I'm beaten for the count.
I think that Obi-Wan is known for being super cunning and having a plan, and I think he still had a plan. Like, I don't truly think this was him giving up. I think this was just him trying another tactic. Like, he's like, okay, we tried fighting a little bit, that's not going to work, but there's other ways to win battles without just fighting. And I think this was him, and I think it was him trying to kind of make himself vulnerable to make her trust him a little bit more, and him to try to really get that idea in her head that, like, let's take him. We can take him together. Like, let's do it. Let's fight him. We can do this. And I think he was kind of trying to recruit her a little bit to be like, if you and I take him together, he's gone. We win. And so I don't truly think it was him giving up and thinking he lost. I think he was just, I'm going to win this battle a different way.
Yeah, I get the sense, and I like what Trevor H says here. It was almost like he was trying to trick Vader with his thoughts, making him think he was surrendering. And yeah, that could very well be it, you know, is that he kind of knew, like, yeah, there's only one play here, at least in his mind. And he's like, to buy these people some time and to maybe have a chance to catch Vader off guard. He's like, let's do the unthinkable. And I dug that, because it is very much Obi-Wan, right? Like, he is all about kind of that counter move, that wise, you know, kind of underlined thing. I think, I'm totally spacing the word. You said it just a second ago. His wittiness, you know. Yeah.
He's cunning.
Cunning, yeah. Jason Kelly, it's entirely within his character to seek a peaceful solution. It is, in a way, but I mean, it wasn't quite a peaceful solution. Like, he knew what was gonna go down if it worked out his way. But I loved the scene, and I'm kind of surprised. You know, I mean, maybe stormtroopers just don't pay attention, but I love that Obi-Wan's having this conversation with everyone surrounding him, and he's just like, "We can do this.
We can do it.
Let's just kill him." You know, like, I'll lure him into me, you know, and then we'll kill him, you know. And personally, when I first saw this episode, I watched it twice. When I first saw this episode, I thought it was very weird that she had stormtroopers take him back into the refugee base and close the doors. And I thought, it was like, well, that's weird. Like, you know, and especially the fact that he just like escaped from them, like it was no big deal. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, no, that makes complete sense. At that moment, she had decided, I'm along for this plan, but I have to make it look good. So she told the stormtroopers to take him behind where no one can see, so he could escape and, you know, use that as an opportunity, because at this moment she's like, okay, we're going along with this plan to take out Vader together. And of course, I don't know what it is, but I kind of dig the way Hayden Christensen is, what he's doing in the suit of Darth Vader. Like, we're used to seeing Darth Vader kind of just slowly walk his way, not really like fast pacing, but so far, every time we see Hayden walking in the Darth Vader suit, he's like, I'm a man on a mission. I'm gonna freaking
he goes straight Vince McMahon and starts strutting down the runway. Like, he is also, I saw a video talking about how the suit is different in the fact that he has the reflection in his the eyepieces, because if you watch the old movies, there isn't really a reflection. And so in the way that they're filming this, you know, basically there's a giant screen around them, so you can see the reflection of what's around him. And then especially like lightsabers and stuff like that, you can see the reflection, because in the old movies you don't see the lightsabers in his eyes, because, you know, there wasn't anything there when they filmed it. And so I just think, like, the way he's working the costume and the way the costume is really adding to the character. I think this is the coolest, scariest version of Vader we've ever seen.
Ooh, yeah, I like that, man. It is kind of scary, because usually we see Vader very like controlled, very calm, and while he's still a badass, it's just, he's very calculated. He's just not worried. It's the confidence of doing less is more, in a sense. You know, especially with like A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, like, he doesn't have to do a lot. He doesn't have to be the fast-paced Jedi that he normally is. He's like the shark in the water that just has to wait, you know, to get you at your like most unexpected moments. But in this, it's very much just like, yeah, I'm coming, you know, I'm gonna burst through these doors, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna get you, because it just explains, you know, what has been on his mind in the last 10 years, which is, you know, explains a lot about him. And he is frightening. He is scary as hell in this one, especially. Now, Cody, I feel so sad that we couldn't have Super Bro Corey and the Savage Bat, because I know the Savage Bat, especially because he is just a Darth Vader nut. He would have gone absolutely like bananas in this next scene. Vader.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Just the level of, which I thought it was a little interesting because obviously Vader has shown that he's very, very strong with force powers, which is interesting because Anakin didn't really do that a lot. And so I think that's kind of just shown how he's already got the lightsaber skills. He's already got those skills. He doesn't need to do them. And so I think this is trying to show that like he has now become more powerful with the Force and he can get the Force to do what he wants. And so now like I think it was just a great way of just showing that he is much stronger than what he was before, because now he has those strong, Force abilities that we didn't see before when he was just Anakin.
Yeah. Trevor H says
just ripping that thing to pieces was awesome.
Oh, right. It kind of reminded me of like video games that we've seen, like with Jedi Force Unleash, and even Fallen Order kind of does it. Where just that kind of power to be able to stop a ship and like pull it down, and it's a big ship, right? Like,
yeah,
it is no small feat. But Vader just does it like, yep, here we go. Like, you thought you were getting away. No, it was just such a great, and Trevor H is complete savage. Vader Savage as Darth Savage, maybe, that would make Savage Bat happy. Yeah, dude, it was just such a cool freaking scene, and to see him like pull down the ship, and then he's just tearing it apart. Like you could tell the rage in him is just like, nope, you're not getting away from me, bro. Like you are mine tonight. And then, of course, Obi-Wan one-ups from a little flashback that we get about how Obi-Wan uses Vader's, need for victory that blinds him, his aggressiveness, his headstrong, head first mentality was going to be his downfall. And in a way, I loved that they kind of redid this whole episode 3 and even kind of A New Hope when like, how Darth Vader says, when I last met you, I was the learner. Now I'm the master. And in this case, he's still very much learning, right? Like this is still very young Vader who has a piece of Anakin in him, who's like, yeah, Obi-Wan, your former master just totally tricked you. You fell for it, bro. And I can only imagine how pissed this is going to make Vader in the final episode.
And I think even in the flashbacks at this point, I believe this is the part of the flashback where Obi-Wan's lost his lightsaber, and then he pulls some shenanigans and whips Anakin's lightsaber out from him. And it's like, you still have a lot to learn.
Still have a lot to learn.
He's disarmed, and he was still able to out-clever him. And in the same thing, he's disarmed, and he still out-clevers Vader.
And especially when you think about how talented of a lightsaber duelist that Anakin is. I mean, Anakin very much is probably one of the greatest lightsaber duelists of all time, and Obi-Wan is right there with him. And I especially loved that scene with the flashback, because I don't know about you, but it kind of looked like they did a little bit of choreography from Revenge of the Sith. There was a little some things going on there that they were
some of the music, I believe. There was bits and pieces of the music a little bit distorted from when they have their big lightsaber duel in the third movie. So also, I know you're a big music guy. Thought the music was great in this episode.
I thought it was really good. I was slightly disappointed in some elements of it, simply because essentially, like when I see Vader, I want to hear Vader theme. I want to hear the Imperial March. Or at least a tease to it. And they kind of did it. There was moments they teased it, but it was like, it was such a small tease that it was like almost not worth it. Like I wanted, like when Vader was like marching up to the gates, to hear bomb, 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 like just give me a little something. to really just blow our minds away with him. Let's see. El Necron says, I love this Vader. It's how I imagined him when I was a kid playing with my Kenner toys. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, Wrecking Job. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool, El Necron. Batan says, we need the classic Imperial March. I agree. Not that Natalie Holt is doing a bad job. She's the composer of this series. She's not doing a bad job at all. I unfortunately, and I get some composers are like this, like perfect example, Tom Holkenborg, who's a brilliant composer. He likes to create his own stuff. So Godzilla versus Kong, he didn't use the Godzilla theme. He created something similar to it, but it was very much his original song for Godzilla. And to me, it's like, there's just some things you have to do, because a certain character has a iconic theme like James Bond, like Indiana Jones, like Godzilla. You're just going to expect to hear that when you see these people. And I think,
But
like I
here's my
said,
counter
overall,
to that. Here's my counter. This
Yeah.
whole series has been teasing things, getting us.
Mm.
And then when it happens, it blows our mind. Trey, there's one more episode left.
Good point.
In my opinion, I have one scene how I think the show is going to end, and I think that music would play perfectly during that last scene.
You're gonna have to. We'll talk about that at the end of this episode, because I'm curious to hear what you say. But Corey says, Super Bro is like, I was giggling with joy when Vader forced through that ship to the ground. Power of the dark side. Oh, bro, totally. Like, yeah, Sarah kept looking at me like I was an idiot, because I literally felt like I was a kid again, just kind of going like, oh my God, like they're doing it. Like, Vader is the badass that we all know. And you always know, like, Vader just has that certain presence. I always love hearing that with actors on set of things, when, like, an actor is your friend, right? Like, you work with them for 6 months, you're building a relationship with them, and then you see them put on the Batman suit or something like that. And all of a sudden, when they get on set with that suit on, they embody that. It's like a tone changes. People don't look at you anymore as, Ben Affleck or Hayden Christensen. You are now Darth Vader. You are Batman, walking in that suit, and people are going to like react to you differently. There's gonna be tension. And I love with this show, and love with any Star Wars show and film, it always seems like, with like Rogue One and some of the other stuff, the moment Vader arrives, it's like, oh shit. That's always the reaction is, oh shit, it's about to go down, and that's exactly what it is, especially with this episode, when Vader pulls down that ship and just rips it apart, like Super Bro Corey was talking about. But I loved in that flashback, like Gork and Beans was kind of getting to. Yeah, I think there's possibly saving some things, because you could make a statement that said, well, maybe he's not quite Vader yet. Maybe, I mean, mentally not quite Vader. Like, obviously he goes by Vader and stuff like that, but like, clearly there's a piece of young Anakin in him. He's not thinking quite clearly. He's very much in rage mode right now. And Obi-Wan has that effect on him for obvious reasons. So maybe he's not quite that Vader that we all know, the shark in the water waiting for his moment. But I agree. Maybe Orkin Beans is right on that, on the music, that we might get that theme at the most opportune moment, because they really paid off Reva. Now, of course, Reva, Vader's pissed that Obi-Wan got away. But Reva decides, hey, maybe this is the right opportunity to try to take out Vader. And what was another theory that was confirmed right here on the Bat Channel? Remember when I said, I think it was episode 2 or 3, I was like, Vader he's not just like letting her off on these things. Like, he is tricking her. The Grand Inquisitor is not dead. The Grand Inquisitor, he's going to bring out the Grand Inquisitor to betray Reva. And he knows that she is not his friend, that she has ambitions that will try to take him down. And what do you know? Sure enough, she tries to go for the head. I'm surprised she went for a slashy move. I thought she would have just done like a turn on the lightsaber and let it go through him kind of thing. But knowing Vader, he probably would have stopped that too. But of course he stops it, and in a very interesting fight scene, he, for like the first couple of minutes, doesn't use a lightsaber like Obi-Wan.
He doesn't even use his own. The entire fight, he never uses his own. That, to me, showed how much he knew he outclassed her. She never had a chance. Never. Like,
Perfect.
The fact that he could just force block her, then he takes her own weapon, snaps it in half like it's a twig on the side of the road, and then when he does basically a shout out to Ahsoka, does the double lightsaber thing, and never even uses his own on her because he didn't care. He knew. And I thought this is when he was going to kill her. I thought he was going to go all Count Dooku and just slice his head off like he did him. And then to have him just stab her again, just like he did when she was little, I thought was one, a mindfuck, and two, I think he knew he didn't kill her. And I have my theory is he wants to see if she can live through this again, that she is strong enough to be his apprentice. I think that's where his head's going. I think he thinks if she can live through this, I can use her anger against her. She's now pissed at Obi-Wan because she now knows that Obi-Wan used her against Vader. Yeah. And I think this is a test. I think this is his idea is if she makes it through this and comes after me again, boom, she's my apprentice.
Bro, that's my thought. Such a cool thought. I love that because that is like, according to like the video games, right? Like that is very much a Vader thing right there to be like, okay, cool. Like, so yeah, I did betray there, but you know what? You really showed up. You really impressed me by your dark side skills. You know, I'm gonna, I'll let you, work with me before I decide to kill you again because the Emperor doesn't want me to have an apprentice.
Yeah.
But oh, dude, that is so great. El Necron says he was toying with her, letting her get humiliated by him. Well, it explains like every time. Remember when I said I had an issue that Vader just let her it wasn't quite an issue. It was like, they're going to explain this, but I was like, if they don't, I have an issue with it. When Vader just doesn't immediately kill her because she failed him. He knew all along who she was. He knew she was a Padawan. He knew her motivation was to kill him and that she wanted to get closer to him. So this whole entire time, he's like, I'm just going to use you. And that is like so perfect Vader. And you knew at that perfect moment that when Vader had Grand Inquisitor show up and, just be like, hey, revenge is a thing that can keep you alive. I understand it. It kept me alive, and it kept you alive then, and maybe it'll keep you alive now. And he's just toying with her, and he's just like says, "Have a good day, like Grand Inquisitor." Like Vader all along knew Grand Inquisitor was okay. He knew that like when he promoted her, it didn't matter. She was dead already, or at least she wasn't going to achieve her mission to get him. And it made Vader, like when people are saying like, oh, well, like, Vader's like most impressive. You came up with a plan to put a tracker on Lola so I can get to Obi-Wan. Oh, what an impressive plan. Girl, I have a plan that's going to destroy you. Like, I know exactly what your plan is. Your plan, you think Reva was 2 steps ahead? Vader was ahead this entire freaking time.
He's light years ahead.
Yeah, 10 years ahead. He knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. And the fact that he calls you youngling was just like, oh my God. Like, of course he knew. Of course he knew what was going on.
Right? Like, they did some, like, people, like, it's one of those things, right? Like, you got to give it time. You got to let the story unfold. And this is why I say I get it with, like, TV shows and episodes. It's kind of tough because you're only getting a piece of the story at a time. And sometimes they don't pay it off and they don't achieve what they were setting up. This show, I'm going to give it some mad freaking props because they paid it off and we still have one more episode.
Yeah.
Insane. But of course, Reva, she's still not dead. She's holding on to that revenge, but now she has a bigger issue. She teamed up with Obi-Wan, but Vader, now playing the manipulative game, saying, hey, he tricked you. He literally made you play his game and left you here for me because I knew who you were this entire time. You thought you could get me because he told you you could get me. It's like, no, you never had me. You never could kill me. I'm freaking Vader. And of course, this now sets up another problem for Obi-Wan, not just Vader hunting him, but now Reva has a reason to go after Obi-Wan even more with rage. And unfortunately, as Reva is still alive, she finds the little messenger device that Obi-Wan gave to someone that dropped it. And of course, it has the recorded message from Senator Organa saying, oh no, do you think Vader knows about his kids?
Oh, here's the location of one of those kids.
Yeah, and they're on Tatooine. I'll be there to make sure they're okay. Like the whole point of the kid going to Tatooine was that he could live with his uncle so he was safe, so no one would know him. But the Senator Organa is just going to make a random trip.
And he says the name Owen, which she remembers yelling at an Owen earlier.
In episode 1. Oh, God. You know, like I said, I can kind of let this one slide, kind of. Because the rest of this show was like perfection, this episode especially. But Jason Kelly says here, Vader be like, how the fuck this keeps surviving lightsabers to the gut? Maybe she has two stomachs like the Grand Inquisitor. I don't know. Yeah, man. So she obviously knows now who Luke Skywalker is and his location. And as we end with the final scene back on Tatooine off of the land of Mos Eisley with young Luke sleeping peacefully, probably for one last night until all hell is about to break loose for next episode. And of course, Obi-Wan senses that there's trouble on the horizon and that Reva knows the truth that he's been hiding all these years. Crazy. Man, insane freaking episode, without question.
When they're on the ship, Roken shows up and is like, hey, our hyperdrive doesn't work.
Yeah.
And he's like, and they're right behind us. And Obi-Wan's like, and then
very
Obi-Wan
typical
also
Star Wars thing, right?
Yeah. Obi-Wan's also like kind of having an idea that like something's wrong. He's like, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not going to be.
Not going to be, right? I think he was trying to, especially the way Ian McGregor played that with him kind of looking around to see all the people and already Roken kind of whispering. I think the idea was to not create any panic because Obi-Wan's not an idiot. He knows shit's about to go down. They're not out of the woods yet. Now hopefully, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see if he can stop Reva before she gets to Tatooine, but they're gonna bring it right up to that moment where you think Luke is in danger. But we, as Star Wars fans, we know Luke is obviously not gonna be in trouble. Neither is Leia.
I want to know, and I don't know if you noticed this, where did Roken get that Wookiee bowcaster?
Right, when I saw that, that got me excited too. Man, great question. Who knows?
I want to know where he got that and whose bowcaster it was.
You think it could be Chewie's?
I don't know if they'd go straight out and say it's Chewie's. I think that's too big of a thing. But I just would, when I saw that, I was like, I don't see any Wookiees there, and he's got a bowcaster. I want to know where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, it could be maybe possibly one of the refugee Jedis. I'm totally spacing the Wookiee Jedi's name. It starts with a G that we learned in Clone Wars. It's like Gory. No, I can't remember off the top of my head. But I mean, hey, it's certainly possible.
Gundy.
And Gundy, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it could be maybe his bowcaster that he able to give up the lightsaber, have a bowcaster kind of thing, and left it behind when they were being smuggled away. I mean, we don't know what happened to Gundy.
I just thought that was a little cool moment where I was like, that's a bowcaster.
Yeah. So as we talk about this episode and give it our ratings, Orkin Beans 14, my man. This was a dope ass episode. If you had to give it a score, what would you give it?
I'm giving it a nice 9.6.
Ooh, wee, big fella.
It was a
Woo.
9 the moment I saw Hayden Christensen.
It was
Instant
so
9.
already you see Hayden.
The
9.
whole rest of the episode was great. Obviously, I was a little the whole, hey, here's the location of these kids that are super important kind of thing. That bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me, it was solid 9.6.
Okay. Super Bro Corey did text me his message because he texted me right after he watched this episode, and he was like, I have to tell you. So Super Bro Corey said it's a 9.6 for him. And he said he wanted me to personally say hashtag we called it. And he says, because 9.6, because of the mere strength of Vader, flashback training scenes, tactics, and all of our receipts. Yeah, man, we were right on a lot of shit. And that made me like partly so excited because there's like so many people were kind of giving a shit. I wasn't telling you this, Cody, because we were like getting like personal message DMs and stuff like that with people being like, oh no, Reva's dumb. Like you guys are like, once again, like hashtag fake, hashtag fake Star Wars fans, Disney's ruined Star Wars. And I was like, just give it time, just wait. And all of a sudden after this episode, I don't know if you noticed, but the narrative started to change about the Reva character. So many people were like, oh my God, Reva. Yeah, Reva had a great character arc. Like, holy shit, she's a cool character now. And it was just like, really? Like, what happened to like a couple weeks ago when you were just like, you terrorized the actress,
It's one of those things, like Star Wars is such a great property that like, and it has so much history that everybody like just they want satisfaction right now. And it's like, let the slow burn happen. Like, I know you care so much about Star Wars, but just let it happen and enjoy it. And that is, like I said, when I did this episode with you guys last week, this show has brought me back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
It has been such a great slow burn. And like I said, I knew it was going to pick up fast. I didn't think it was going to be this fast for this episode, but this being the episode it was and being the 5th episode makes so much sense.
Yeah.
This was the best 5th episode they could have done.
It was insanely good. Like, you really have to give it some credit. And even Jason Kelly was like 9.8. It's a masterpiece episode for this season. It was really good. Batman says, who knows, maybe Luke will die and Obi-Wan will clone him. Doubtful, but I think that they're on such a good track record right now with Mandalorian, Book of Boba, with Luke Skywalker stuff, especially. Like, if they did that, I don't think fans would ruin the show. Trevor H says 9.6. Okay, yep. Bat Fanatic 9.7. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse guy 9.5. All right. Batman with the 9.578. I see what you did. L Necron 9.8 and a half, so 9.85. Oh man, hashtag receipts. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to literally pull some of our old videos and start bragging about that, because I mean, while it wasn't a scoop, it was a theory, and you know what, we were freaking right about it. Jason Kelly said same thing happened with the Halo show too, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it really picked up on the second half, right? But it's all part of that building, right? You got to give these characters some story arc. You got to give them some growth that they can do. And for me personally, for my rating with the show, the first time I watched it, I was like, it's definitely a 9. I was like, maybe a 9.1, maybe a 9.2, maybe even a 9.3. I was kind of in that low 9 area. But as talking with Orc and Beans 14 about it, and seeing Super Bro Corey like message me about certain stuff, I was like, man, there's some really cool stuff that happened in this. My only 2 criticisms, and Orc and Beans kind of helped with one of them, the issue with the music, in terms of, I want to hear the Imperial March at some point. That is me. I do want to hear the Force theme at some point, but I think they're saving that. Yeah, I think they're saving the Force theme for Qui-Gon Jinn. That's my thoughts. With the Imperial March, maybe we'll get that next episode. I'm hoping. And then I did have a little bit of issues with the, the whole hey, let me message you some top secret information. Don't know if you have your messenger or your phone with you. Like, let me just spread all the beans, just tell you. So overall, though, I think it was an insanely good scene. I'm going to give it a, you know what? I'm going to agree with Super Bro Corey, I think, on this one. I think I'm going to give it a 9.6 as well.
Everyone 9.6 around.
Yeah, 9.6 around. Let's see here. I see Batin says, don't say receipts, betas will come after you. I'm saying receipts, damn it, because we were right and people doubted us. People are like, oh man, you guys are just loving at anything Disney throws at you. Like, no, I have issues. I was like, but we were freaking right about Reva in more ways than one. We were right that Reva was a Padawan. Now, I know that was kind of a common theory that people were starting to have, but we were one of the first channels saying that. Like, she was definitely one of the Padawans. Two, we were without question right that we said double agent as the term, but we kept saying that her goals to help the Empire weren't exactly like, that wasn't the truth. She was going to go against the Empire and Vader at some point. We did say that. Confirmed. And three, we also had confirmed that the Grand Inquisitor, obviously people would have known this if you watched Rebels, but people were like, are they breaking canon? And we said, no, the Grand Inquisitor is still alive and that Vader was going to reveal him to show that all this time he has been using Reva. We were right about that the entire freaking time. So hashtag receipts. Thank you. Have a good day, betas. We'll see you later. El Necron says, okay. 9.666. No. Orchid Beads, you got it right on this one. 9.66. Oh
now,
man, totally.
What are your theories for the final episode?
Well, obviously Qui-Gon Jinn's going to show up at this next episode.
Has to.
He has
I really
to.
hope he does.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised because, well, I mean, maybe Obi-Wan is going to be at one of his lowest points. He did lose Tala, and he knows that he messed up in the sense that Reva's going to be after him now because he set her up for failure with Vader. And Vader is after him. So yeah, he's kind of in a low spot right now, and they're coming to get him. And Luke Skywalker is about to be revealed to Vader now, or at least to Reva, who might use that to her advantage somehow. So this is gonna be an intense episode. God, I almost wonder how long it's gonna be. Do you know how long it's gonna be, or convenience?
No, I hope it's longer.
I'm thinking it needs to be like a 90-minute show.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find if anyone says anything.
So I'll say theory, there is going to be a big fight scene between there's going to be a big fight scene between Obi-Wan, Reva, and Vader. It's going to get close to Luke. Luke might miss it, but it will be nearby him somehow. Qui-Gon Jinn will show up. And, I think they're going to end it in a way where there's not like a cliffhanger, I think, because I don't think the plan was to have a cliffhanger. I think the plan was to do a good limited season, tell a story. And if people want more Obi-Wan, we'll get more Obi-Wan, which it sounds like we are going to, and possibly a Darth Vader show, which sign me up. I want to see more Hayden Christensen, take off the helmet. Let us see Hayden. I'm all for it. So what do you think, Orkin Beans? I know you have some thoughts.
I have, this is how I would make. This would be my happy final episode. Yeah, I want a full. I think El Necron says it later. I saw 90 minutes was the rumor for this final episode. Okay, cool.
I hope so. It should be.
For me, Obi-Wan thinks something's going on. He just got told the hyperdrive is wrong. He's at a low point. So for me, I think this is when he's like, you know what? I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to fight him. I got to give these people time to get out of here. I trust these people to get Leia where she needs to go. And so I say, he goes, you know what? Drop me off. I'm doing it. And I say he goes off. He finds a little spot in the corner. And he has his Qui-Gon Jinn moment. And Qui-Gon's like, hey, I know you feel like you failed. I failed you more. This is on me just like it's on you. but you need to be Obi-Wan right now to save these people. And that's when we get Obi-Wan at full max power, full confidence, and it's like, I gotta just do it. I have them going down and fighting. We get one more Vader Obi-Wan fight, but now it's more on equal terms.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, so obviously, let me ask this: do you think Vader now would beat Obi-Wan from Episode 3 during the Mustafar battle?
Oh, 100%. I think Obi-Wan's totally not winning this fight.
Okay.
And so that's why. And like I said, before I get roasted in the chat, because I have wild ideas for this last episode, this is how I would want it. They have the fight. It going Obi-Wan's way. Then it starts not going Obi-Wan's way. And then this is my crazy idea, because this is Disney we're talking about, and they want that money. And they need another toy. There's one more ally that Obi-Wan has that he has not thought about. And it's the person that comes and saves him and lets him escape. Motherfucking R2-D2 shows up with a ship. This is my idea.
Listen, what I thought you were going to say.
He's got another ally. R2-D2 shows up because he also, I'm going to say, was helping out the people that are going for. He shows up. It causes not Vader, but Anakin to hesitate. And that's what gives Obi-Wan the chance to escape. Maybe drop some debris on him. And so he escapes. Then he shows up to Tatooine. And that's where Reva's sitting there waiting with Luke and Owen. He ends up having to kill Reva. And then this is where your music comes in. We think the episode's over. Obi-Wan's won. Leia's back with her family. Luke has no idea what's going on. And then we get the music starts to pump up a little bit. We see Vader doing his walk down a long corridor. And we hear, "Don't worry, young Vader. We'll get that Obi-Wan eventually. Besides, construction on our weapon is going well." And that's when we see fucking Sidious looking out the window. We start to see the construction of the Death Star. That's how the episode ends. That's what I want. That's what I want.
You actually bring up a good point, because I totally spaced that. I'm spacing his name. The actor who plays Emperor Palpatine is supposedly in this show, but we haven't seen him yet.
I think he's going to be at the end. I think this is when we start to see the construction of the Death Star. Because in the episode 2, Count Dooku then gets the plans for it.
Yeah.
And so we know, and obviously we know the Death Star comes into play soon.
Yeah.
And so this is the time period where the Death Star is going to be starting the construction.
Well, I believe actually at the end of episode 3, now that could have been a time jump, but you see Vader on the bridge of one of the Imperial ships with Emperor Palpatine. They see the beginning construction of the Death Star.
Well, it's only been 10 years between 3 and now. And so, I mean, it's a gigantic ship. It's going to take them more than 10 years to fully create this thing.
Yeah.
And so I still feel like this is where we see him walking down the corridor. He's pissed as all hell that he once again got defeated. He's even more Vader now because he's pissed off at Anakin for making him hesitate. We get our Palpatine shot. We get our Death Star shot. And that's what builds us into the Vader series. And everybody loves R2-D2.
So
everybody loves R2-D2.
The whole point, well, not the whole point. Obviously, it was tell a good story about Obi-Wan, but to lead into a whole, like the purpose was to lead into a Vader series. Because we've heard Hayden Christensen be very vocal that he wants to do a show.
Yeah, 100%. I totally think that this was 1A because everyone would want an Obi-Wan show. And 2, I think it's a bridge into the Vader show. If they don't end up making an Obi-Wan season 2, which I don't see what the story would be for season 2 of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could do anything they want with a Vader show, and I would eat it up.
Oh yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like the fact that we haven't, like the fact that a Vader series wasn't like approved by Disney Plus. When Disney Plus first became a thing, they decided to do a completely new character called Mandalorian. Like, I'm surprised by that. Like, I would have thought Vader would have been like, check mark, like, done.
I think it's more slow burn for us. I think Disney is doing this very well. And I'm very surprised at the Vader that they've given us, because he's scarier and more violent and stronger than I thought he was going to be.
Okay.
And so I think with a season, like a Vader show, they'll kill it.
I like where your head's at, my man. That's some damn good theories. Man, Orchid Beans, you killing it.
And also, it's Disney. They want that money, so of course they're going to throw R2-D2 in.
Yeah.
That's where I get out of it.
R2-D2.
And then Obi-Wan's like, hey, R2-D2, why don't you go off with these survivors and stuff like that and help out other people?
Which actually, you have a wonderful point about that, because I believe we saw C-3PO in the first episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Alderaan with Leia. I think he was like serving people at their guests. But we didn't see R2-D2. So where is R2?
I could see R2-D2 with the type of droid that he was throughout everything. He would be a droid that would be helping survivors and trying to get Jedi through the path and stuff like that. I could totally see the R2-D2 still being working with survivors and stuff.
I like it. That is cool, Orchid Beans. That's a cool theory.
I think R2-D2 is the only character that could give that moment of hesitation to Anakin.
You don't think 3PO would have that sense too, as something he created?
I don't. Even though he has created C-3PO, he spent so much time with R2-D2. And so like I said, I've been watching the Clone Wars. And season 1 is when they have that episode where R2-D2 goes missing during that big fight. And it's like Anakin gets hurt or something, and R2-D2's lost, and then he has to deal with that new R3 unit that ends up being a bad guy. Like he goes so far and above to save the R2-D2, even though also because he didn't wipe his memory and he has all that information. But he's willing to go that far and above to rescue a droid.
Yeah,
I 100% think
that's a good point.
If Anakin saw R2-D2, it would make him hesitate. Obi-Wan does something to kind of slip out of there, and they take off.
Let's be honest. He probably just wants to have R2-D2, so he's like, play that Padme hologram again. Anakin. Like, yeah. I just
And then by next week, or by the week after that, there'll be little R2-D2 toys all over the place, because Disney wants that
I like it. You know what? You might be right about that. Well, guys, episode 6 is next Wednesday. We will continue to do our Saturday breakdowns next Saturday, which we will also be doing, as you guys already know, our Obi-Wan Kenobi season finale game party celebration over on Orchid Beans 14's Twitch account. It's going to be a damn good time. June 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys send your gamer tag invites to either Orchid Beans 14, or you can do Titans space Valor 12 or Biggie C 72 to Xbox. That's where we do all of our stuff on Xbox. Sorry, I probably should have mentioned that, folks. Yeah, we do it on Xbox. If you do PlayStation, you're cool people too. I know Batdan has PlayStation, but
I really wish it was crossplay.
Yeah. Oh, is it crossplay?
It's not. Because I looked that up, because a lot of games are going to that format of crossplay. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is going to be really nice if it's crossplay, but it's not. Sorry, guys.
Son of a nutcracker. Well, we'll just have to do it anyways. But send us your invites now. Definitely leave us a message that says, hey, like, we're from TBC, we're from the Bat Channel. So that way we know it's not like some person like trying to spam us, because I don't know. I get weird spams on Xbox invites all the time. It's weird, but whatever. It's like bots or something. But definitely send us your invites now for June 25th at 7 p.m. I heard Jason Kelly's going to be joining us, which that's going to be there. I'll be there unless I'm not. Well, that just ruined exactly what I just said, Jason. Thanks for making me look like an idiot. I'm just kidding. But I appreciate it, guys. It's been such a damn good time. Orchid Beans, as we kind of come to the end, let us know, my man. What do we got going on with you? Anything cool coming up?
I'm just still trying to stream as much as I can. Obviously, it's hard with work and stuff like that, especially with me working nights. But I should be streaming sometime tomorrow. I'll definitely post that on my Twitter. You guys can follow me on Twitter. Definitely follow me on my Twitch. That's the biggest way you can help me out. I'm getting close to my goal of 50 followers. I'm at 34 right now, so definitely follow me on Twitch, but also TikTok, Twitter. I have an Instagram that I don't post anything on, but you can follow that too. Go for it. My YouTube channel, all of it is OrkinBeans14. Yeah, and it would definitely be a lot of help. And also, Bat Channel, thanks for having me.
Dude, it's always a blast having you on Orchid Beans. Like you said, when I heard you were a Star Wars fan too, I was just like done. Like you don't even need to say no more. You can be on the Delta Squad stream because that's how 100%. We do it. All right. Yes, it's gonna be good, guys. A little sad that Super Bro Corey and Savage Bat couldn't be on simply because I know they both were going crazy this episode, just like Orkin Beans and I were going crazy. We were definitely, I'm sure they were jumping out of their seats going nuts. I mean, that could have been why, the Savage Bat was like, yeah, I can't even be on the show because I'm going to be screaming the entire time.
Put his mind. they're trying to reconstruct his brains because they've been blown out.
They've been blown out. He was just like mind blown when Boris, Vader threw that down and it's just like, that was it. I was done. I saw the perfect scene and I need to see no more in life. But guys, as always, it helps us out so much when you smash that like, you share this video, you subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Subscribe to my boy Orkin Beans on his Twitch account. If you don't have a Twitch account, make one and then watch his show because
it's free to follow me.
Yeah, it's free to follow Orkin Beans 14. And not only that, he has really cool show. I really do enjoy it. Like I used to be like, oh, Twitch. I don't really watch Twitch. And then I had a few friends who had Twitch, so I started watching them, and I was like, yeah, still like, oh, it's cool, but it's not for me. And then I saw Orkin Beans 14's channel. And I was like, this is hilarious. This is fantastic.
I'm great. I'm awesome.
Yeah, you're the best. That's why I love you, and I have good feelings about you, my man. I know things are going to be, exploding here pretty soon for you. But we got Good Austin in the house. Good Austin, my man. It's so good to see you, bud. Hope all is well. He just says, I'm popping into the show. Much love, everyone. It's good to see you, Austin. Hope life is treating you well. Hope you're having a good weekend. And Jason Kelly says, love you guys. Love you too, Jason. It's been awesome, man. Oracle says, great show, fellas. Looking forward to it. Orc is the guy. Totally enjoyed our Halo session. You already know. He is Mr. Orkin Beans.
And I got the audio stuff figured out, so the boys are going to sound good too.
Perfect. And then I'm going to try figuring out probably this next week, trying to see if. So I might not post a lot of videos next week on YouTube. As I try to figure out Twitch and stuff like that. But luckily I have my boy Orkin Beans 14 to kind of
got your TikTok game going.
We got TikTok going.
I gotta get you on Discord. Maybe in the near future there'll be a Bat Channel Discord.
Yes, actually, yeah, we're definitely wearing. See, like Cody is becoming like my go-to guy. He's a youngling.
Trying to get him on that social media.
I'm an old man when it comes to technology.
We're a year apart, Trey.
Really? Only a year? I thought
we're
it was
only
2.
a year apart.
I thought he's still a youngling. What up, Rhea? She says, what up, Bat Channel? Everybody, hit that like button. You got this. Rhea, you are phenomenal. Guys, check out Rhea's channel. She does a lot of cool Nintendo Switch games over there, and she's an absolute riot. You know how I feel about Rhea. Rhea is just awesome. Good Austin says, Rhea, I hope you had a good rest of your weekend. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, it means so much when you hang out with us for these streams. After this show ends, make sure to comment your favorite moment in episode 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, or let us know what you are hoping to see in episode 6, or if there's like any other mysteries or kind of things that you need them to fix or explain to make episode 6 the absolute perfection of an episode of a season finale as possible. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. As always, I am your host, Trey of the Bat Channel with
Orkin Beans 14. Thanks for everyone watching.
And don't forget to tune in weekly, same about time, same about channel. We'll see you later, guys. Have a good one.